Somewhere along the line, modern food systems narrowed our diets down to the exact same handful of vegetables, but in doing so, we lost an entire generation of superfoods. Many of these forgotten plants have superior mineral density and powerful anti-aging, anti-inflammatory compounds that modern research is only now unlocking. Today, we're covering 15 accessible, forgotten vegetables that most people wouldn't recognize, and the incredible benefits hidden inside them. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's get into it. Number 1. Purslane, Portulaca oleracea, the weed that fights aging. Most people pull purslane out of their garden and throw it away. It looks like a weed, low-growing, succulent-like leaves, kind of sprawling across the ground. And that's a genuine shame, because purslane is one of the most nutritionally dense plants you can eat. Purslane is the richest plant source of omega-3 fatty acids of any leafy vegetable. It's extraordinarily high in glutathione, the body's primary internal antioxidant. A 2024 study found purslane significantly increased butyrate in the gut of aged subjects, with documented anti-inflammatory and neuroprotective effects. Ancient Chinese medicine listed it as a longevity plant. Most people are literally composting it. Eat the young leaves raw in salads, mild, slightly lemony taste. Add to stir-fries in the last minute of cooking. Mix into a yogurt dip with garlic and lemon the way Middle Eastern cuisine has been doing for centuries. Number 2. Scorzonera, black salsify. Europe's forgotten root Scorzonera. Dark-skinned root, white flesh, mild nutty flavor. Enormously popular in European kitchens from the 16th century through to the early 20th. Then it faded out as supermarket culture simplified everything down to a handful of familiar roots. The anti-aging case for Scorzonera is inulin content, one of the richest food sources of this prebiotic fiber and mineral density. Inulin feeds beneficial gut bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids, reducing systemic inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the most direct drivers of biological aging, and prebiotic-rich foods are among the most effective dietary tools against it. Scorzonera is also rich in potassium, iron, and calcium. Traditional European herbalists recommended it specifically for liver and kidney function. Peel Scorzonera under running water. The milky sap stains. Simmer in salted water for 20 minutes until tender, then finish in butter with herbs. Or roast it whole at 200 degrees for 35 minutes. The flavor intensifies beautifully with heat. Number 3. Kohlrabi, the alien vegetable worth knowing. Kohlrabi looks like something a science fiction prop designer came up with. A bulbous purple or green stem with leaves shooting out sideways. It was a staple in German and Eastern European kitchens through the 19th century and into the early 20th. Most people today have seen it at a farmer's market and walked straight past it. It's a brassica and shares the anti-aging properties of that family through glucosinolate and anthocyanin content. The purple variety has significantly higher antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity than the green. Research confirms kohlrabi reduces oxidative damage to cells, the molecular process underpinning most of what we call aging. One medium kohlrabi also gives you more than your entire daily vitamin C requirement. Slice it thin and eat it raw with a dip. It has a fresh, slightly sweet, crunchy texture somewhere between an apple and a broccoli stem. Or roast wedges with olive oil and sea salt at 200 degrees for 25 minutes until the edges caramelize. The leaves are edible too. Cook them like kale. Number 4. Celeriac, celery root. The overlooked brain food celeriac intimidates people on appearance alone. It looks like a knobbly mud-covered rock, but underneath is a creamy, versatile root with mild celery flavor and a nutritional profile that's genuinely impressive for brain and vascular health. Celeriac is high in vitamin K, important for preventing arterial calcification, and contains apigenin and luteolin, flavonoids with documented neuroprotective effects. Luteolin specifically reduces neuroinflammation, the low-grade brain inflammation that accumulates with age and drives cognitive decline. Traditional European herbal medicine used it specifically for kidney and bladder health. Peel the rough outer skin and cube the flesh. Roast with olive oil and thyme, or simmer and mash with butter as a lower-carb alternative to mashed potato. Grated raw into a remoulade salad with mustard dressing is a French classic that genuinely deserves more attention. Number 5. Jerusalem artichoke, sunchoke. The gut age reverser Jerusalem artichokes have nothing to do with Jerusalem and aren't artichokes. They're the tuber of a sunflower plant. The name is a corruption of the Italian girasole. Despite this interesting background, most people have never cooked one. Jerusalem artichokes are the single richest food source of inulin, around 14 to 19% by weight. Inulin selectively feeds beneficial bacteria that produce butyrate, which reduces intestinal inflammation and has systemic anti-inflammatory effects well beyond the gut. Research increasingly links gut microbiome diversity to biological aging rate, and Jerusalem artichokes are one of the most powerful dietary tools for supporting it. Scrub them clean, no need to peel. Roast at 200 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes until golden and nutty. Or slice thin and add raw to salads for a crunchy, slightly sweet flavor. Start with smaller amounts if you're not used to high inulin foods. They can cause gas initially as the gut microbiome adjusts. Quick pause, drop a like if you're finding this interesting. And let me know in the comments which of these you've actually tried. I'm always curious how many people have already come across some of these. We're a third of the way through. The next ones get into some genuinely unusual territory. Number 6. Salsify the oyster plant. Salsify is sometimes called the oyster plant because when it's cooked, it has a flavor that some people describe as faintly oyster-like, mildly briny, slightly sweet, unlike anything else in the vegetable world. It was grown widely in Europe and America through the 18th and 19th centuries. Thomas Jefferson grew it at Monticello, and then it essentially vanished from mainstream cooking. Salsify is a prebiotic powerhouse through its inulin content, with potassium comparable to bananas that supports blood pressure regulation. High blood pressure is one of the most direct drivers of vascular aging. It's also rich in iron and vitamin C, which work together. Vitamin C significantly improves iron absorption. Peel and slice salsify, dropping pieces into acidulated water immediately to prevent browning. Simmer in salted water for 15 to 20 minutes until tender. Serve with butter and lemon, or add to soups and gratins. The flavor is mild enough that it absorbs whatever it's cooked with, while adding a gentle background sweetness. Number 7. Cardoon, the artichoke's wild ancestor. Cardoon is the wild ancestor of the globe artichoke, a giant silver-gray thistle that grows to 2 meters, a staple in ancient Greek and Roman cooking. In the Mediterranean world, it never entirely disappeared, but most people outside Italy and France have never encountered it. The anti-aging properties center on cynarin and luteolin, the same compounds in artichoke studied for liver support, cholesterol reduction, and bile production. A liver that clears inflammatory compounds efficiently is one of the most important organs for longevity. Cardoon also contains inulin and chlorogenic acid, a polyphenol that reduces oxidative damage in vascular tissue. Trim the stalks like celery, removing the strings and tough outer layer. Blanch in salted boiling water for 20 minutes to remove bitterness. Then braise in olive oil with garlic and stock, or bake with breadcrumbs and cheese in the Italian style. The flavor is intense, somewhere between artichoke and celery, and genuinely worth the preparation. Number 8. Rutabaga, Swede. The winter root that lasts, rutabaga, Swede in British English. This is one that some people will recognize, but most younger cooks have never intentionally bought one. It was a winter staple across Northern Europe and North America for centuries, storing well through cold months when other vegetables weren't available. And it's been quietly sitting in the forgotten category for decades. Rutabaga is a brassica cross with the full anti-aging toolkit, glucosinolates with anti-inflammatory properties, high vitamin C, and significant beta-carotene. Carotenoids are among the most studied compounds for reducing UV-induced skin aging. The orange-yellow flesh tells you the carotenoid content is higher than most people expect. Cube and roast with olive oil, rosemary, and a little honey at 200 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes until caramelized and sweet. Or add to soups and stews where it breaks down into a naturally sweet, creamy base. The flavor is milder than turnip and much sweeter than most root vegetables once roasted. Number 9. Lovage. The forgotten herb vegetable lovage doesn't fit neatly into categories. It's used as an herb but grows to the size of a large shrub, and every part is edible. It tastes intensely of celery, but more complex, slightly bitter, ubiquitous in medieval European cooking until it quietly disappeared in the 17th and 18th centuries. Lovage centers on quercetin and apigenin content, flavonoids that inhibit enzymes breaking down collagen and elastin in skin. Quercetin is also studied as a senolytic compound, helping clear senescent aged cells that accumulate and drive inflammation in surrounding tissue. The research also confirms diuretic properties that support clearance of inflammatory metabolic waste. Use young lovage leaves like celery leaves. Add to soups, stocks, and stews where they provide extraordinary depth of flavor with almost no preparation. A few leaves in a potato soup transforms it completely. The stems can be used like celery sticks. Lovage is extremely easy to grow. One plant produces more than most households can use. Number 10. Hamburg parsley root parsley. The 2-for-1 vegetable Hamburg parsley is parsley bred for its root, though both root and leaf are edible. It was a staple in Central and Eastern European cooking from the 17th century onward, still common in Polish and German cuisine. Almost everywhere else, forgotten. Hamburg parsley is built on apigenin, luteolin, and myristicin, compounds now studied for neuroprotective effects. Apigenin inhibits inflammatory signaling in the brain that drives neurodegeneration. The leaf is also the richest common food source of vitamin K, and the root is high in vitamin C and folate, which regulates homocysteine, a direct driver of vascular inflammation when elevated. Add the root to soups and stews. It provides a complex, parsley-celery flavor base that's essential in traditional Eastern European cooking. Roast it alongside other root vegetables. Use the leaves exactly like standard parsley, but with a more intense flavor. A plant that genuinely earns space in any kitchen and garden. Number 11. Taro root. The longevity staple of the Pacific taro is one of the oldest cultivated food plants in human history. Grown across Asia, Africa, and the Pacific for over 10,000 years. In Hawaii, it was considered sacred. In Japan, it's a daily staple. In West Africa, it feeds millions. And yet, in most Western kitchens, people have never cooked with it. Taro is high in resistant starch that feeds butyrate-producing gut bacteria, reducing intestinal inflammation. It contains carotenoids that protect skin and cells from oxidative damage, and its potassium content is remarkably high. Traditional Pacific populations who relied on taro historically had low rates of cardiovascular disease and maintained vitality into old age. Always cook taro. It contains calcium oxalate crystals that can irritate the mouth when raw. Peel and cube it, then simmer in salted water for 20 to 25 minutes until tender. Use it mashed, added to curries, or fried into chips. It absorbs flavor beautifully and has a naturally slightly sweet, nutty quality. Number 12. Dandelion greens, the yard vegetable most people spray. Dandelion greens. I know, most people's relationship with dandelion is spraying it. But dandelion was cultivated as a food crop for centuries and was a regular market vegetable right through to the mid-20th century. It was eaten by people who couldn't afford to be romantic about vegetables and needed real nutrition from what was growing around them. Dandelion greens are one of the highest sources of beta-carotene, lutein, and zeaxanthin of any common leaf, carotenoids protecting skin and cells from oxidative damage. They're high in vitamin K and contain bitter sesquiterpene compounds that support liver function and bile production. Efficient liver function is one of the most direct factors in how quickly inflammatory compounds accumulate with age. Research confirms antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity from luteolin and chichoric acid. Young spring leaves are the least bitter. Add raw to salads dressed with something acidic like lemon or wine vinegar, which balances the bitterness well. Or wilt them in a pan with olive oil and garlic for 2 minutes. The bitterness softens significantly with heat. Treat them exactly like any other cooking green. Number 13. Nettles, as a vegetable. The most mineral-dense wild green. We touched on stinging nettle in the calcium video, but I want to come back to it here specifically as a cooked vegetable because most people know nettle as a tea herb and miss the fact that cooking it as a green, the way people across Europe and Central Asia have been doing for centuries, gives you access to one of the most mineral-rich leaves available anywhere. Nettles contain iron, calcium, magnesium, silica, and vitamin K at levels hard to match with any cultivated green. Silica is directly involved in collagen synthesis and is one of the trace minerals most depleted in modern food systems. Nettle is also high in quercetin and chlorophyll. Traditional herbalists prescribed it specifically for building the blood and maintaining connective tissue with age. Use gloves to handle fresh nettles. Blanch in boiling water for 2 minutes. The sting is immediately and completely gone. Then treat them like spinach. Add to soups, pasta, risotto, or blend into pesto. They have a rich, slightly earthy green flavor that's more intense than spinach and genuinely excellent in cooking. Number 14. Black radish, the liver's best friend. Black radish, much larger and more intense than the familiar small red radish, with a dark, almost black skin and a sharp, hot white flesh. It was a common vegetable across Eastern Europe and was used medicinally as much as culinarily. Traditional medicine across multiple cultures specifically used black radish for liver and gallbladder complaints. The anti-aging angle centers on glucosinolates at some of the highest levels in any radish, specifically glucoraphasatin, which stimulates bile production and liver detoxification. The liver's ability to clear hormonal waste and inflammatory compounds is directly relevant to cellular aging rate. Black radish also contains anthocyanins with potent antioxidant activity. Traditional German use as a winter liver tonic is now supported by the identified mechanisms. Grate raw black radish and dress with a little olive oil, lemon, and sea salt. Sharp, pungent, genuinely good once you get used to the intensity. Or slice and pickle it, which mellows the flavor considerably. Add grated to soups in the last minute of cooking. Start with small amounts. It's powerful in flavor and in effect. Number 15. Toona sinensis, Chinese tune, the anti-aging tree vegetable. And we end with the most unusual one on this list. Toona sinensis, Chinese tune, or Chinese mahogany. This is a tree, not a ground-level vegetable. You eat the young spring shoots and leaves that emerge at the top of the tree each year. It has a distinctive, quite strong flavor, savory, slightly garlicky, intensely aromatic. It's a seasonal delicacy in China, eaten for a very short window in early spring when the new growth appears. A 2023 research review identified Toona sinensis as showing the highest anti-aging potential of any plant in its category, with quercetin isolates demonstrating strong anti-aging effects in laboratory and animal models. It has potent antioxidant activity, anti-inflammatory properties, and specifically reduces cellular senescence. Used in Chinese medicine as a tonic food for thousands of years, the modern pharmacological research is confirming exactly why. Fresh spring shoots can be eaten raw, blanched briefly, or added to scrambled eggs, a classic Chinese preparation. Pickled tuna is available year-round in Chinese grocery stores and retains significant flavor and nutritional activity. The taste is acquired, but distinctive and genuinely addictive once you get used to it. Worth finding if you have access to a Chinese market. 15 plants lost to an industry that prioritizes convenience over nutrition. But these weren't rare superfoods. They were everyday garden staples that we simply stopped paying attention to. Try adding just 1 or 2 into your routine this month. Subscribe for more deep dives and tell me in the comments which vegetable surprised you most. If you want to know about foods that contain more calcium than milk, click the video showing on screen right now.